Yo, what is going on, guys? Prevised here, back with another video. Been a while since I made a scripting tutorial, but check it out here. So here we are with a request from Alexander Wow 3 days ago. He asked, how can you make it so that instead of being clicked, the model moves when you stand on it? So that comment was on this video, and I'll let you guys check it out. So as you can see, whenever I clicked on that part, it had a click detector in it. This model right here with bricks moved. Now this script in this tutorial is going to be a lot different, so just stay tuned and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, we're back now in the script. This code will be put in a Pastebin link, so be sure to check out down below in the description. It will be there for you guys to grab onto it, edit it, whatever, have fun with it. But let's go over a few things. So first off, we're gonna start is we're gonna look at your model. Okay, so this is my model right here. Okay, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to insert a part by clicking at the top up here. Go to scale, change this to 1. Now we're gonna make this part a 2 by 1 by 2. Let me show you what I'm talking about right here. The size 2 by 1 by 2. Okay, so this will be right below your model or inside of your model, however you would like, however you want to place it. I will go over how this will look. So as you can see, my NPC is right here. Okay, let me drag it up a little bit. Okay, so you see how the legs are right here. So basically you want to put the part inside of whatever model you're going to be using. So the leg, you know, of course, ends right here. So you want this block to be inside of it, so that way the block can be touching the ground, if that makes sense. Just like this, like that. You want the block to be touching the ground. Alright, so now that we have that, and my block is right here, and I put it inside of my model, and we name our block to main. So be sure to do that. Change the name of that block to main. Next up, what we want to do is we want to right click on our model, insert object, and we can type in folder right here and just insert a folder. I already have my folder right here, and we name that folder to C-frame parts. Make sure that it's capitalized and it's spelled the exact same way as mine. We're going to insert 2 parts called C-frame part 2 and C-frame part 1. What you can do is your main block, now that you have it set to the position that you want and it's inside of the model, click on your part, the main part, press Ctrl D to duplicate, or you can just right click and press duplicate. Okay, and I will do that right now actually. Now that it's duplicated, you're going to want to drag that into your folder. Name that to C-frame part 1 and do the same thing. Duplicate that part again and rename it to C-frame part 2. So now you're gonna have 2 parts that looks exactly like main that is in this folder. Now what you're gonna want to do is drag your C-frame part 2, get the move tool, press on this move tool right here, and then whenever you press on C-frame part 2 right here, it should be right here, but my C-frame part 2 is right over here because it's already finished. But you're just gonna want to move it wherever you want your model to be whenever we click on, whenever we step on this part right here. Alright, so now that we have our folder set up with 2 parts in it, I will go over it one more time so you guys don't get confused. C-frame part 1, make sure it's spelled exactly the same. That goes for both of these parts. Make sure you have part 1 and part 2. Your part 1 is going to be your original position where your model is. C-frame part 2 is going to be wherever you want your model to move whenever you touch on this part. Alright, so now that we have our model set up with our folder and our main part, just remember the main part needs to be in the same spot where C-frame part 1 is. So as you can see, as I'm clicking through, it's in the same spot, and whenever I click on C-frame part 2, it's at the place where we want our model to be moved. All right, so now that we have that finished and that's out the way, you're going to create another part, or if you already have your model set, then this will still work. Let me actually show you an example. So say I have a model right here. Okay, I will just change the colors just so it makes more sense and it just looks yeah, more understandable. All right, so these 4 parts, I'm gonna do Control G just to group. As you can see, this is a model. Okay, just ignore this part right here. I'm just getting rid of these scripts, and I only want one of the parts to have the script in it, and that will be this part right here, this white part right here. So this is just an example, this is just a model, just so you guys know that you can make this work either if it's just a part that you're stepping on, or you know, if it's a part that's in a model that you're going to be stepping on. It still works with models. I just want to show you guys an example right here. So back to what we're doing. So your part, now that you have your model, your part, you're going to want to right click, insert object, and type in script. Okay, it should be a server script, not a local script. So you're going to double click that. It doesn't matter the name of this script either, it really does not matter. Now that we're in the script, and like I said at the start of the video, all this code will be in the description, so be sure to check that out, and I will go over this code with you right now. So right here, we've created a variable called NPC. Now, reason I made this variable is just so all you really have to do in this script, if you do go to the Pastebin and grab it, all you really have to do is just change the text right here to the model name of your to the name of your model. Yeah, so like I have mine NPC, which is in workspace. If it was testing, for example, you just go back to the script, make sure testing, it's spelled the exact same as your model. All right, so our next variable, we have model to move. So this is going to be the model that we're going to be moving, which is our NPC. And actually, let me change the name back. Instead of testing, NPC. Yeah, all right, that's right, that's right. Model to move. All right, so make sure your model is inside of workspace. If it's inside of lighting or any of these, it won't work. It needs to be in workspace, of course. And of course, if it's in workspace, that's the only place you can actually see your object. But anyways, so we're in workspace. So we're gonna find first child. So what this means, we're gonna go in workspace. The script is gonna go in workspace, and it's gonna find the child called NPC. Okay, so we use the function find first child, and then instead of doing find first child NPC, which would work in my case, we've created a variable right here to make it easier for you guys. So we're just gonna change this back right here to model name, because basically right here it's set as a string because we have a variable right here. So basically, whenever you say model name right here, it's basically saying this. Okay, now that we have that out the way, we've created another variable called C-frame parts. This is our folder right here, C-frame parts. I will say it again because a lot of you guys say things don't work, and then whenever I would go check in y'all studio, the names are just one thing's lowercase, the other letters capitalized. It has to be exactly the same. Okay, got that out the way. C-frame parts, so this is just accessing our folder. Local main, this is going to be the main part that we've set on our model. So basically what it's saying is wherever this main part is, so it's right here, we're gonna take that position where your model is, the position of this main, and we're gonna set it to right here. So basically we're gonna be using a thing called primary part. It's a property of models. It's called primary part. So we're gonna set the primary part of this model to main. So main, this part is going to be the primary part of model. So that way we can set the C frames, you know, wherever we want. All right, so main is just accessing the part main right here. C frame part 1, this is C, this is basically standing for C frame part 1, as you can see right here, and then C frame part 2. So C frame part 1 is going to be used for getting the original position, okay, and then C frame part 2 is going to be getting the position. So basically we're making this variable right here, the C frame part 2 variable, just so we can get the position where our model is going to move to. Okay, so this is C frame part 2 right here. So we want the model to move to right here, C frame part 2. Okay, and another thing I will say, we do not need these parts at all. We get rid of them because they're useless now that we have the C frame for them. Okay, so we didn't get the C frame up here, but basically we can get the C frame. Alright guys, so I am back. So what I've did here was just switch this around, these variables, and these destroy, because how it was right here, like this, basically I was destroying the parts before I was even getting the C frame of the parts. So that's not good. That's not good. So we need to get the C frame of the parts before we destroy them, of course. Alright, so now that we have that out the way, next we move on to, oh, let me explain this. I don't know if I explained this yet. So basically we're destroying the parts because we don't need them, because all we need from the parts is just the C frame. We can just get rid of the parts. We just need the C frame of C frame part 1, which is going to be our original position, and C frame part 2. Now keep in mind, this main part right here, this is only used, it's only going to be used as our primary part, so we can set the primary part C frame, as you can see right here, model to move, which is NPC, our NPC, model to move, set primary part C frame. So that's going to set the primary part's C frame. As you can see, there's no primary part right here, but in our script right here, like I was about to go over, we set the model's primary part, the model's primary part, to main. We do that right there. Alright guys, so now we are inside of the touched function. Okay, this is where the magic happens. If I didn't go over what C frame means, it means coordinate frame. So it's kind of like position, but C frame gets the X, Y, and Z axis and the rotation. That's the difference. It gets the rotation. So C frame's a big thing in scripting. You always want to make sure to set the rotation. But yeah, that's what that means. Alright, so inside of this touched function, so as you can see, if we go inside of our script, so this is our model that we had built right here. Okay, this is the part, the white part right here is the one with the script in it. So we do script.parent, which accesses the part, .touch. So every part has a touched event. Okay, I'm sorry, yeah, touched event. Now this script will fire whenever something touches it. Just anything, it will fire whenever anything touches it. So what we want to do is we want to make a check statement. So what I mean by that is we want to check if hit.parent find first child humanoid. Alright, I will go over what this means. So whatever's in this parameter right here inside of these parentheses, okay, this can be named anything. It can be named it could be named whatever, but I always like to use hit because this parameter is going to be accessing are getting whatever touches it. So if I said print hit.name, okay, and if I was to just remove the rest of the code right here, and I just had print hit.name inside of this touched function, and I walked over it, it's going to print. I will show you actually. I'm actually going to show you if you did not know. It's going to print left leg, right leg, whatever. Look right here, as you can see, and it did print handle, whatever handle is, something called handles touching it, and I think that's actually, yeah, that's something inside of my character. But yeah, now that you've learned that, we can take that out. Actually, yep, and I will take that out. So hit is basically that. So we're saying if hit dot parent, so just say my left leg touches it, that would be considered hit. Dot parent, find first child. So basically hit is the part, parent is the model, which would be our character, hopefully, you know, if we touch it. And then find first child, so it's going to go inside of our character and it's going to find humanoid. So it's saying if it finds humanoid, then the rest of the code will run. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's a character touching it. So like you, it's a, you know, if it's a person touching it, not just anything. That's where that comes out to play. Now we have a debounce. So basically, if you didn't have a debounce in your code, the code would fire every time you've touched it. And as you can see, whenever I was just stepping on it, it fired a bunch of times just by just touching it. But yeah, so we don't want that. We only want it to work one time. So how this works is we make a variable called touched. Okay, we're gonna name our variable called touched. We're gonna say it equals to false because we've never touched it yet. Okay, so we said if it's a humanoid, then we also want to check and see if touched is equal to false still. Okay, so you know this script is going to all run whenever the server starts up, and then this function is only going to fire whenever it gets stepped on. So if it's false, which it should be whenever the server fires up, just picture that. Okay, just picture you going step on the part. So if it is false, then we're going to change the variable to true. Okay, then we set the model to move, and then we set the primary part C frame to the set position. So model to move is going to be our model NPC. Okay, and then we set the primary part C frame. As you can see right here, we set the primary part to main. So we're basically setting the primary part C frame to this C frame right here. Set position. Set position we have as a variable, which is getting our the position where we want our model to move to. That's that one part. We're just basically getting that C frame. So we're setting the model right here, this model's primary part, which is main. We're setting that C frame to right here, and that's basically it. Now that we've set touched equal to true, this code will never run again in this server because it's set to true. I mean, just think about it. You know, if you step on, if somebody steps on it again, and you were saying if touched is equal to false, then you know it's just not gonna run because it's not saying if touched is equal to true, and then so it's not gonna run again. If you want it to run again, check it out. I'll give y'all a bonus. Stay tuned. I'll give y'all a bonus. Stay tuned. All right, guys, we are back. So before we get into the bonus clip, what we're gonna do is click on your main part and just set the transparency to 0 so that we don't see it. Okay. Of course, you're still gonna see it in Studio because that is what you're seeing is the C frame part 1 and C frame part 2, which I mean you could change it to 1, but there's no point because the parts are going to be getting removed whenever the server loads up. All right, so the bonus clip, let's say, all right, so look, let's just try it out, see how this thing works, and we'll see what we can add to it. Okay, so we're going to go step on a clip, on a brick, Bam. Okay. And look, that's all it's gonna do. That's all it's gonna do. If you step on it again, it's not gonna do anything else. Okay. Let's say we want the model to move back to the position where it was at, the original position. See, that's the reason why I've made a variable for the original position for you guys. To do that, it's very simple. All we do, we make a wait timer. Let's just say we want it to wait 5 seconds after it gets moved to the set position. I'm gonna copy this line right here, put it underneath right here, underneath the wait. Model to move, set primary part C frame, original position right here. See, original position. That's our other C frame variable right here. Okay, we're gonna test that. We're going to step on it, wait 5 seconds. Look, I'm stepping on it some more. Still gonna go back in 5 seconds. Boom, we step on it again. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. You know why? Because we have set touch to true and we've never set it false again for the code to run. So what we can do, so basically it waits 5 seconds, it moves back to the position, we can set touched back to false, so that way whenever it goes back and this script wants to run and it goes through all this and it finds the humanoid, then if it checks if it's false again, then it's gonna run. That easy, that easy. Now we're going to play and I will show you guys what this does. Step on it, okay, wait 5 seconds, it's gonna move back and we should have the ability to make it move again. It's gonna wait 5 more seconds, it's gonna move back, boom, you touch it again, see, pretty cool. Hey, but that's not it. Another bonus clip. Stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned. And look, if y'all haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to subscribe, because if you subscribe and you comment down in the comment section, you will give me motivation to make scripting tutorials more often. And I would really appreciate that, because I always try to find something to do whenever I'm bored. And this is actually pretty fun because it's been a while since I've actually scripted. But yeah, thank y'all for watching again. But hey, stay tuned, bonus clip. All right guys, we are back. So now what I'm going to be showing you guys is a countdown for whenever you can use this machine again. Does that make sense? So basically what we're going to do is we're going to name our model to machine. Your model can be named whatever you would like, but in this case it's going to be named machine. Next up, this is our new model that we've just created inside of our previous model that has the part that you've stepped on, as you can see right here. So this is a model within a model. We've named this model sorry, we've named this model board. Okay, so we just have a back part right here that's no use. It's just for the sake of showing that you can make it with a model. Okay, now countdown part. Okay, make sure it's spelled the exact same way as mine, unless you know, I'll show you how to go around it without even, you know, if you just wanted this thing to be called countdown. Okay, I'll show you guys around. Anyways, you have that part. Inside that part you have, I'm sorry, I accidentally clicked on that. You're gonna have your surface GUI. Okay, you can just set that up however you would like. Okay, so yeah, it's named text label, it doesn't even matter. It says label, it doesn't even matter. So we're all good. All you just need is that part and the surface GUI, and we're gonna learn how to, you know, access all that if you don't know. All right, so now what we're going to do is access some of these parts. So we're going to do local board, oops, spelled that wrong, local board equals, so we haven't set a variable for our machine, did we? No, we didn't. All right, so local machine equals workspace, I'm workspace dot machine. Local board equals machine dot board. Local countdown part equals board dot countdown part. All right, so we've made some variables. So local machine equals workspace dot machine. So we've got the machine. Board equals machine dot board. Okay. Local countdown equals board dot countdown part. So if you're really not sure what you're doing and you have no knowledge of scripting, I recommend please make sure everything is spelled the exact same way as it is right here. As you can see, rename that first model that has your part in it where you step on, rename that to machine. Rename the other model, your board with the the countdown part in, rename that to board, spelled the exact same way as mine. Countdown part as well. Make sure that it's all spelled the exact same. Same goes for the variable names. Everything needs to be the exact same. Now that's if you don't know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing, then go right along. Anyways, we've accessed that. So right here, what we're doing is we're taking the text labels text and we're making it say ready instead of label. So whenever we first join the game, or more like whenever the server first starts up, it's going to change the text to ready. Okay, then we've created a function called countdown, and I've made a parameter called in progress. I've put in progress right here just so whenever we call the function right over here, we have it set to true right here. So that true basically means it's right here. Okay, but so we say if in progress is equal to true, which if in progress, this is in progress right here, which we are saying that it's true. So if it's true, then it's going to count down. So how this for loop works, saying, so right here, I is just basically a variable. It can be anything. So more like num for number, whatever, but I just say I. Okay, so for I equals 10. So there's three number values right here. It's saying this is the in position, okay, and then this is the start position. So it's gonna start at 10. It's gonna work its way to 0 by going in a negative route. So by going from 10 to 0, but you can't have it saying from 10 to 0 and then you say 1 right here. That just would not work out. You'd have to say -1 because you want it to count down. Say you wanted it to count up from 0 to 10, then this would have to be a +1 because you are going you're not going down. But so we're gonna be counting down, so we're gonna say from 10 to 0 -1. So it's gonna go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you want it to go 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0, then you do -2. Whoops, -2. See how that works? And then wait right here, that's just saying every second. Wait 1 second. Okay. Now that we got that out the way, okay. So basically it's another little loop. So it's gonna wait 1 second and it's gonna keep counting down to 0. Okay. So every second we're getting the text labels text. So text labels text right here. So whenever the game first is gonna start up, it's gonna say ready, which is right here. But it's gonna say can use in and then ... I. So ... I in this case is right here. Okay. So it's basically the number that's going to be changing. Okay. So if you want, whenever you join the game, if you want it to say ready, then keep it as ready. And that's what would go right here. Okay. On line 24. But for y'all, the lines are probably going to be different because y'all are not going to have all this code unless I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I might just have separate Pastebin links. But I'm going to figure something out. But anyways, right here, Okay, so all this is the new code that I have added. Okay, and make sure right here you're going to want to call the function. Okay, make sure to do it in this order. You count down the function, you call the function right here. The next, you have your set primary part frame, and then you have your touch to false. Just make sure everything inside of this touched function is the same order. Okay, you don't want to get the code too confused, and but yeah. So, and then after the countdown, it's gonna go back to say ready. Okay, so make sure whatever's right here, whatever you put right here in this text to start off in game, you kind of want to put it right here too. It doesn't really matter. You can just mess around with it. But yeah. But that's just about it, guys, and I hope you guys really enjoyed. This is probably going to be like a 20-minute video. I don't know. I've been making this video for a while, but it's going to get a lot of editing done to it. But be sure to request for some more videos. I appreciate y'all for watching, and stay tuned.